Hello guys, welcome to ID Talk TV. Hope you guys are doing well today. In this video, I will take you around some of the latest transfer deal that went down before the transfer window was shut. Yesterday I made a video regarding some of the deals that actually scaled through and today in this video I'll be bringing you up to speed also with some of the deal that scaled through and some that didn't scale through. And also, I will bring in you some of the reaction concerning one controversial deal, talking about the Nicholas Jackson saga that ends up Jackson still joining Bayern Munich. Okay, stay tuned, grab a coffee as I take you around some of the latest happening that went down before the transfer window closes. Okay, let's dive into it. Take a look at this from Ben Jacob. Bayern confirmed Nicholas Jackson has joined from Chelsea on a loan with a €65 million conditional obligation, triggered based on appearances, €16.5 million loan fee for the Senegalese international. Ben Jacobs reports that it's no longer news that Nicholas Jackson has joined Bayern Munich on a loan and with an obligation to buy. And the loan fee is reported to be around €16.5 million. But my concern with this deal, I haven't sealed the deal to Bayern Munich. The obligation comes with a condition. And what is the condition? The condition is based on the appearances that Nicholas Jackson will definitely have with Bayern Munich. Believe me, even though Nicholas Jackson is not the only player that have secured a loan move on deadline day with such condition, because also in my previous video I talked about Manuel Akanji, who also secured a loan move from Manchester City to Inter Milan. But such condition attached to a loan move, to me, it doesn't add up. It really doesn't add up. In Manuel Akanji's loan move to Inter Milan, it's a €2 million loan fee with €15 million obligation to buy, and the condition attached with that obligation is that he will have 50% appearances in the league, and also if Inter Milan went on to win the Italian Serie A. I mean, such condition it's uncalled for, in my opinion. Why I said such condition is uncalled for? It's like someone who went to a designer shop. Yes, he went to a designer shop, get yourself a beautiful perfume. To your taste, it's a very nice perfume. You wear that perfume on your body and hanging out with your friend, and someone gets to tell you, man, this perfume you are wearing is actually irritating. That is how I see that the condition attached to such loan obligation. That is how I see it. And that simply means if he didn't perform well, if he didn't get the number of appearances, then he will return back to his parent club. That is how I see the loan move. So in the case of Nicholas Jackson, having secured a loan move, he was very happy to join Bayern Munich. But seeing this today, reported by Ben Jacob, that the obligation for Nicholas Jackson to remain at Bayern Munich is based on his appearances. But believe me, the Bayern Munich setup I saw over the weekend, Nicholas Jackson will definitely be coming from the bench, because I don't see Nicholas Jackson breaking into the starting place of FC Bayern Munich. Because if you look at Bayern Munich setup, the up front of Bayern Munich, we have Harry Kane as the point man. From the left, Luis Diaz. In the middle, the central attacking midfield, you have Serge Gnabry. And in the right, you have Michael Olise. That four players up front, I don't see Nicholas Jackson breaking in. And definitely is a squad, is a depth player. Let me use that word. He is just to bring depth to Harry Kane. Nicholas Jackson will only get playing time if Harry Kane is injured or being substituted in a game. Okay, let's check the latest as it comes in. And this is what Fabrizio Romano went on to say. Official, Nicholas Jackson joins FC Bayern from Chelsea on initial loan deal with buy clause. First picture as a Bayern Munich player with Diomansi Kamara and Ali Barat, owner of Epic Sport, who brokered the deal. It's nice to see that Nicholas Jackson has joined FC Bayern Munich. He actually wanted the move, having been left out of the Chelsea squad by Enzo Maresca. And Professionally, he acted well till he actually secured the move. I wonder how Nicholas Jackson actually felt when that deal was first called off. But at the end, something actually happened and the deal went through. And let's take a look at some of the reaction that came in when Nicholas Jackson was unveiled as FC Bayern Munich player. Check this from Ben Jacob. Ali Barat and Nicholas Jackson Bayern move. At Epic Sport, we don't wait for the right opportunity, we build it. Nicholas needed a platform that matches his ambition. At Bayern, he finds a structure of excellence, a football identity tailored to his strength, and a project that will allow him to write the next chapter of his legacy. Interesting. This is coming from Ali Barat, the owner of Epic Sport. I mean, very close ally to Nicholas Jackson. I don't know if he's his agent, but it was good to see this write-up by Ben Jacob quoting Ali Barat. So, Nicholas Jackson has actually found a place where the structure is built with excellence and provide him excellent platform to play football. Is definitely good. I mean, if we take a look at the German Bundesliga, in my opinion, all the time I look at the Bundesliga, I only see a one-man race, and that is Bayern Munich. Take it or leave it. If anything happens in the German Bundesliga that Bayern Munich did not win the league, then it's an internal problem. Talking about the problem of Bayern Munich, because the league is always structured in that manner. I'm not saying they are doing it to favor Bayern Munich, but the strength Bayern Munich is having over other clubs, talking about other 15 clubs, over 17 clubs rather, because the German Bundesliga is 18 clubs that takes part. So it's always Bayern Munich all the way. So far, the German Bundesliga started about 2 weeks ago, and they have played 2 matches. Bayern Munich have went on to win all 2, and they sit top at the Bundesliga table. Haven't destroyed RB Leipzig in their opener by 6-0. And over the weekend, they went away to defeat FC Augsburg by 3-2. So, in the coming days, we'll see how all of this still will be playing out with Nicholas Jackson in Bayern Munich. And here is what Max Eberl, the Bayern Munich sporting director, went on to say. Even during the difficult situation, Nicholas Jackson has never worried or had any doubt. He simply said, I want to be here and want to play for FC Bayern. That was impressive. We tried everything in the background to make it happen. Interesting. Does that mean, is that going to mean that in as much as after the first deal went through, which was actually announced that Bayern have secured Nicholas Jackson on a season-long loan before Chelsea called off the deal, Nicholas Jackson has always shown that he was happy about the move, and he's shown that he wanted to join Bayern Munich. That was very clear. It was very, very obvious for everyone to see. And before the deal was called off and Chelsea revoked his medical and other stuffs, Nicholas Jackson was very, very unhappy. But Chelsea decided not to keep a player who is not happy by taking another decision, which I actually salute the courage and the decision Chelsea took there. They went on to call back McGew from Sunderland, who has been on loan to Sunderland, and Nicholas Jackson deal actually scaled through. Today, after the deadline day of the transfer window, Nicholas Jackson will be playing his trade with Bayern Munich. So, good luck to Nicholas Jackson. Okay, let's move on and take a look at some other deals that went through before the transfer deadline day or on the transfer deadline day. Hours before the transfer deadline day, Henderson secured a move to Fenerbahce. And when that news broke out, when that report broke out, I knew that Gianluigi Donnarouma would definitely be heading to Manchester City, because that was only the condition Manchester City was holding on. If Ederson leaves, Donnarouma was definitely going to come in. And yes, the report. Take a look at this from Fabrizio Romano. Exclusive. Gianluigi Donnarouma to Manchester City. Here we go. Deal done for the Italian goalkeeper to join Man City project from Paris Saint-Germain. Medical this afternoon. Long-term deal agreed weeks ago, and all done between 2 clubs after Ederson signed for Fenerbahce. I think Manchester City have actually settled the goalkeeping department. No disrespect to James Trafford, who was signed from Burnley. a very young goalkeeper, talented at that. But the mistake, the blunder against Tottenham Hotspur that led to Paulinho scoring that second goal was very expensive, a very costly one. And Manchester City went on to lose that game. And also at Brighton over the weekend, James Trafford was not at his best, and Brighton definitely went on, came from behind to defeat Manchester City 2-1. So Donnarouma coming in, is a big plus because we know he's a very big goalkeeper with big name. If we watch his career last season with Paris Saint-Germain, led Paris Saint-Germain to win the UEFA Champions League, but was stopped by Chelsea at the Club World Cup. So it's a plus for Manchester City having Gianluigi Donnarumma, and we'll see how this will play out in the coming days. But I definitely believe Gianluigi Donnarumma is definitely going to be Manchester City #1. For Ederson, well, time will tell in the future what actually transpired between Pep Guardiola, Manchester City, and Ederson, because in my opinion, they have not actually said the reason why Ederson was no longer needed, because Ederson has been a very good shot stopper for Manchester City. But it is football. Everything and anything is possible. So let's move on. So Fabrizio Romano went on to say, Gianluigi Donnarumma's deal at Manchester City will be valid until June 2030. It also includes an option for one season until 2031. So Gianluigi Donnarumma have signed a 5-year deal with Manchester City with option for an additional 1 year that will make it 6 years. So the Italian shotstopper will be playing straight with Manchester City in the Premier League. So we hope to see the best of Gianluigi Donnarumma. Congratulations to Gianluigi Donnarumma. So we move on. There's one player that was actually tipped by RB Leipzig to be a replacement for Chelsea-bound Xavi Simons. But surprisingly, Xavi Simons did no longer end up in Chelsea, and the said player did not actually also end up at RB Leipzig. The transfer market always has its way. Let's take a look at this report from Fabrizio Romano. Harvey Elliott, new Aston Villa player on £35 million deal from Liverpool. Liverpool Football Club have included a buyback clause on the deal. Fabrizio Romano went on to say, Aston Villa confirmed Harvey Elliott has joined from Liverpool on a loan with £35 million obligation to buy. So, Harvey Elliott, that was tipped to be a replacement for Xavi Simons, ended up at RB Leipzig, ended up at Aston Villa. And Xavi Simons, who was also Chelsea bound, ended up in North London, the white side of North London, in Tottenham Hotspur. And that is what the transfer market can actually bring. Before you can even close your eyes and blink it, even if a player is having medical in your own front, another club can hijack that deal. And that is football. But in this case, we hope to see good football coming out from Harvey Elliott, who has actually joined Aston Villa on season-long loan with obligation to buy. So Liverpool have actually included a buyback clause in that deal should they need Harvey Elliott in the future. So let's move on and talk about Jadon Sancho. My previous video, I've actually made a post and I actually talked about Jadon Sancho, who has secured a move to Aston Villa. But here's the detail of Jadon Sancho's contract after joining Aston Villa. Check this out from Fabrizio Romano. Jadon Sancho's salary will be covered for 80% by Aston Villa and 20% by Manchester United. Loan fee and bonuses are also part of the deal. Interesting. So, Jadon Sancho joins Aston Villa on a season-long loan. His salary, both his salary, his bonuses, and whatever packages is covered in that deal. That Aston Villa will cover 80% of his salary and Manchester United will cover 20%. I don't think Jadon Sancho actually accepted pay cuts to join Aston Villa, because that is the more reason, I think, in my opinion, that is the more reason Jadon Sancho rejected the offer to join AS Roma after Manchester United have accepted a £20 million fee on a loan move for Jadon Sancho. But personal time was not reached between AS Roma and Jadon Sancho. And he was hoping for a future move, that opportunity will come. And that opportunity actually presented itself in Aston Villa. And Jadon Sancho have joined Aston Villa and will be playing his football in the 2025-2026 league season with Unai Emery Aston Villa. Okay, let's move on and take a look at some of the deal that collapsed on transfer deadline day. I mean, it was not really good for Guehi. He expected the deal, haven't done the medical, but I believe the paperwork actually was not done. And the grace time, the 2 hours grace time elapses, and the deal did not go through. So take a look at the report from Fabrizio Romano. Breaking: Guehi Liverpool deal has collapsed. Despite medical done and deal sheet submitted, Crystal Palace don't approve the move following Igor deal of Guehi stays at Crystal Palace. Interesting. Crystal Palace was actually chasing after Igor as a replacement for Guehi. Guehi, Crystal Palace have already accepted reach agreement with Liverpool. The player have went on to have his medical, but Crystal Palace could not reach an agreement with Igor for Guehi replacement. So Crystal Palace did not sanction the move of Guehi to Liverpool, and the deal actually did not go through. So the deal collapsed, and Guehi stays at Aston Villa, stays at Crystal Palace. And I believe probably in January or next summer, we shall see if the move will happen in the future. But for this season, Guehi stays at Crystal Palace, and he will be a Crystal Palace player. Okay, another player whose deal did not actually scale through, none other than the Chelsea young talented left winger, talking about Tyreek George. £22 million already agreed with Fulham, but the deal did not see the light of day before the transfer window finally shut down. Take a look at the report. Tyreek George stays at Chelsea and will be part of Champions League squad. The deal with Fulham has collapsed last minute. I think it's a good one by Chelsea to actually use that Champions League thing to encourage the player. Tyreek George is a very young, talented footballer, but I think his position where he currently plays, Chelsea have the likes of Jimmy Gittins and also the newly joined, talking about Alejandro Garnacho, and a couple of players that can also play from that left wing position. So the young lad was actually eager to move, all to get playing time, but the deal did not go through for Tyreek George, and he stays at Chelsea. But Chelsea have assured him that he will be part of the Champions League squad. So Tyreek George will be registered and be part of the Champions League squad. So what do you make of all the happenings in the transfer window that shut down yesterday? A couple of deals actually scaled through, and some actually didn't scale through. They collapsed, like the deal of Guehi and Tyreek George. So what is your thoughts on all of this? Drop your comment down below. Thank you very much for watching, and catch you in my next video. Bye.